both of these equations here are the same type of equation, and the reason is we have variables on both sides of the equation. So when we have variables on both sides of the equation, we're going to have to do some simplifying to get the variable in one place. All right, so starting with this first one here, to simplify this, what do we need to do? We want to distribute here, and we're going to distribute the 2. So we're going to do 2 times n, which is 2n, and 2 times negative 7, which is negative 14. Is there anything to distribute on this side? No. So we're just going to bring everything over there down. So we've got 5n over here and plus 4. All right, after I distribute, then I want to, well, it's something that we won't have to do here, but what would I do next? Combine like terms, right? Why can I not combine my like terms here, the 5n and the 2n, or the 4 and the negative 14? Why can't we combine those? They're on different sides of the equal sign. All right, so we don't need to combine any like terms because all of the like terms are on different sides. So then we're going to move on to the next step, and that's going to be the step where we get the n in one place. We want to get rid of one of these n's. So how are we going to get rid of one of them, and which one do we want to get rid of? The 2n, and how do we get rid of it? Subtract it. Why do we get rid of the 2n here? It's the smaller one. When we get rid of the smaller one, it just makes things easier for us. It's not wrong to do it the other way, but it makes things easier for us because what's left over here is going to be a positive coefficient. So over here we have a negative 14 that comes down. Over here we have a positive 3n plus 4. If you had gotten rid of the 5n, subtracted 5n from both sides, then you would have 4 over here by itself, and you would have a negative 3n minus 14 over here. So you would be dealing with a negative coefficient then. You still could get the right answer as long as you do everything correctly. Now I have n in one place, so I just want to get rid of things to get it by itself. So what do I get rid of first?
4.
Okay, we'll get rid of the 4 by subtracting 4. On the left side, those 4's cancel, leaving 3n. And on the right side, negative 14 minus 4 is negative 18. So since they're both negative, we actually combine them, add them together to get more negatives. So we get negative 18. Then we need to get rid of the 3 by dividing by 3. Do that on both sides. When the 3's on the left cancel, we get n. And on the right side, negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. So we get n equals negative 6. So in this equation here, it looks a little more complicated, but it's the same process. We still have variables on both sides in different places. So we'll circle those variables, draw the line of equality, and start by distributing. When we distribute here, we have to be careful. This is a negative 2. So we have to make sure we do a negative 2 times both things in the parentheses. Don't forget about that negative. Some people forget about it for the second term. So negative 2 times 2h is negative 4h. And negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. All right, big mistake here would be to make this a positive 6 because this is a positive 3. Remember, it's negative 2 times positive 3. And then the 5h didn't distribute here, so we just bring that down. On the other side, we can distribute the 2. 2 times h is 2h, and 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. I think I heard that. And then the 6, we don't distribute to the 6 because that's not in the parentheses, right? So we'll just bring down the 6. After we distribute, then the next thing we're going to do is, what do you mean by simplify? Combine like terms. On the left side, I see a 5h and a negative 4h. Those combine to give us h, or 1h. I'm going to put 1h, but that's really the same thing as h, right? So you could write it either way. The negative 6 doesn't combine with anything, right? So we'll bring that down. So we get 1h minus 6. And then over on the other side, the 2h doesn't combine with anything, so we'll just bring that down. And then we need to combine the negative 14 and the positive 6. Negative 14 plus 6 is negative 8. And then make sure that when we do each step, we get an equal sign on the line, so we have a new equation. All right, now we have h's on both sides still, so we need to get rid of one of them. Which one do we want to get rid of? the 1h. All right, that one's smaller, so we're going to get rid of the 1h by subtracting 1h. And again, instead of writing 1h, you could just subtract h, and just remember that is a 1h if you do that. When we do that, the 1h is canceled, leaving what on the left side? Negative 6. And on the right side, 2h minus 1h is h, or 1h. I'll put a 1 there, but we'll talk about that in a second. And bring down the minus 8. Now, again, I know this is the third time I'm saying it in this problem now. This 1 in front of the h here, we don't need. So keep in mind that when we want to get the h by itself here, we need to get rid of the minus 8, but we don't really need to get rid of the 1. Or at least we don't have to do anything to get rid of the 1. Okay, how do we get rid of the 1? Just get rid of it, right? So we don't even need to write it down, so you don't have to divide by 1 later on to get rid of it. All right, so the only thing I have to get rid of here is the minus 8. We'll do that by adding 8. So on the right side, when those 8's cancel, we're left with that 1h, which we'll just write as h because we want the h to be by itself. And on the left side, negative 6 plus 8, that's the same thing as 8 minus 6, which is 2. Again, if you had the 1 in front of the h here, you don't need to divide by 1 to get rid of it, because dividing by 1 doesn't change anything. So you just get rid of the 1.